Hi there, Eric Backer from New Zealand, a naturopath who wrote the book Candida Crusher. Thanks for coming back, and thanks for looking at my channel. And hopefully, if you watch some of my videos, you may subscribe. Then you too can post different questions to me. I've got a question here from a guy called Alex. Now, this is an interesting one. I'm going to read this out to you. It's a little bit of a read, but I think you'll appreciate this one. Hi Eric, first of all I'd like to thank you for your great work. I've watched many of your videos and seen your website, and you seem like a genuine person who really wants to help people. I must say I'm very confused as to what to do regarding my health. I've had some health issues for many years now. I could not ignore it for a long time, but new symptoms have sprung up and I feel some action is needed. It seems like Candida could be the culprit. I've got severe bloating, acne, brain fog, concentration issues and eye floaters. However, highly respected people in medicine say that Candida overgrowth is not a real issue. And then he puts different URLs for me to click on to look at. What do you say about this, Eric? I don't know who is right. I don't think that you are a sham or trying to trick people, but I'm still convinced Candida is a real problem. I'm still not convinced Candida is a real problem. There are many red flags I see. For example, the fact that the list of symptoms from this thing is so long that it can basically apply to anyone. But let's just say this Candida is a real issue. Changing my eating habits and taking specific supplements for a long period of time is a big investment to make. I would gladly devote time and energy into something like this if it actually knew I had Candida. But I don't know. To go to a practice that can test for this stuff would cost me at least €700. I don't mind spending money for the sake of my health, but it's too much money to gamble on a disease that maybe is real and that maybe I have. Can you see the issue? What can be done in this situation? Thanks for your attention. Regards, Alex. I like this guy because this is exactly what I was like when I was a young guy. When I was in my 20s, I got very sick. Okay, I lived by myself for several years. I had a shift working job. I used to work in a flour mill, rotating shifts, and I lived in this cold house, damp, and in wintertime I used to get a couple of inches of water in my bedroom. The walls all had like a black mold growing on them. I had no idea about those things in my early 20s. I got very sick, and went to my doctor, and he said, you've got depression, you've got anxiety, you've got infections, you've got all of these diseases, and you need all these pills. So, which of course I was stupid, young and dumb. I took all these pills, and then I just went into a hole. And a naturopath I met at a garage sale talked to me and said, I think you've got a Candida problem. Of course, there was no internet back then, so I couldn't really look things up. So I started to read books, and I thought, this makes sense. And my doctor said, the woman's a fool. There is no such thing as Candida. You haven't got a vagina. How can you have Candida? You're not a woman. Only women get Candida infections. So then I started to go to libraries and read up different books and try and really understand what was going on. And I could very strongly relate to the Candida problem. Back then, really, stool testing wasn't much of a thing. It was in its infancy. But I could really relate to Candida myself personally. And through lack of testing at that stage and by self-treatment, I got myself right. It took a long time, but I finally climbed out of the hole. Now, in your case, Alex, you can do stool testing, and it doesn't cost €700. You can get it done for cheaper than that. But without stool testing, you won't know what you've got inside you, my friend. You will not know, okay? It could be a lack of beneficial bacteria. It could be parasitic. It could be bacterial, overgrowth of bad nature. It could be anything going on in your gut. So the only way you're going to know is by testing. Now, regarding Candida being real or not real, it's certainly real. And there are many videos I've responded to just like this, where I've actually put URLs or links in the description box to show people credible information and good studies which support the fact that Candida really is a big problem. It's a seriously big problem in pediatric health, in geriatric health, in health like you and me, just normal people. And it rears its head on many occasions after hospital visits, in hospital visits, but particularly with people on drugs, long-term pharmaceutical medications. It comes as a side effect, as a byproduct of antibiotic use or chemotherapy use. With a little bit of looking online, you'll find thousands of studies that support the fact that Candida is a real problem. There are many medical doctors now who understand Candida and treat it for what it is. But it's not just Candida, because there are over 600 types of funguses that can live in your gut that can cause a problem. So it's not fair to assume that only bacteria play the role in making people sick. Parasites have got a massive impact in people. Most doctors have never ever trained in tropical medicine, so they won't know how to treat any kind of disease like malaria, let alone how to effectively treat parasites. And when they do see them, they just give a routine antibiotic, but they never ever really get the patient back routinely to check what the damage was after that drug. So you need to be careful of conservative practitioners who don't keep up with the latest research. The best approach for you, Alex, is to do a proper comprehensive stool analysis, 3 samples, 3 concurrent days, includes a parasitology panel. That's your best approach, and then to see what the results are and then how to go forward. So yeah, I mean, I am a sincere person and I am a genuine person, and I've looked at the research, and I don't need to look any further because I've worked with Candida patients for over 30 years. I've treated tens of thousands of people now, and I've directly seen the result of a person recovering from a yeast infection to such high level of health. Not 1 time, not 2 times, not 100 times, not 1,000 times, but many thousands of times I've seen people recover. Many thousands of times. So I personally know that it works. That the treatment does work when it's indicated. So when a person has got Candida and we do treat them effectively, they recover. I've got hundreds of stool test reports that I could show you where people have got multiple species of Candida cultured with very high levels in their body. And these are very sick people that have been pushed from one doctor to another and told that they were crazy. And then when we did the stool test, we found the Candida species. So yeah, get the stool test done. It's the only way you're really going to understand. Work through a credible lab. And then when you get a report, send me the report and let me interpret it for you. I'll do that for you. No problem at all. So I hope that answers your question, Alex. Yeah, do the test and let's see what comes out of it. Thanks for the question.